but mighty group, and I'm very excited to share a little bit more about JPMorgan Chase with you. So a little bit about myself. So again, my name is Blake Johnson. My pronouns are he, him, his. And for a physical description, I'm a white male with light brown hair and a beard. And today I'm wearing a black vest and a yellow and black checked shirt. Want to start off just by telling you a little bit about my role at JPMorgan Chase. So I started with the firm about 3 years ago, and I was originally a recruiter for our corporate and investment banking programs. About 2 years ago, I joined a new team, which is our centralized sourcing team that works with lots of different diversity partnerships, organizations external of our firm, and this is the kind of great work that I get to do all day long. So feel very lucky to be in the role that I'm in, and particularly focusing on students with disabilities and also the LGBTQ plus community. But my broader team works with all manner of different diversity programs and folks from all different walks of life. So that's a little bit about me. And now we can advance to the next slide, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our firm in case you're not familiar. So who and what is JPMorgan Chase? So we are, of course, a leading financial services firm. We're the largest bank in North America and one of the largest in the world. And of course, we provide lots of different solutions, no matter what your needs are, whether you're an individual regular person like me, and many of you probably are, or if you're a high net worth individual, or if you are a company or an institution, a governmental organization, we have financial and advisement solutions for you. We've also been around for a very long time. We trace our history back more than 200 years, and now we have a footprint across more than 100 countries globally. We can advance to the next slide. So this slide has our different lines of business, and I think this is a great way just to start to break down who we are as a unified company, JPMorgan Chase, what the JPMorgan part is, what the Chase part is, and sort of the different services that we offer. So I'm not going to go into great detail here, but just to give you a little bit of an understanding around who we are and the services we provide. So asset and wealth management, that line of business is working with high net worth individuals and institutions to help with, exactly as the name implies, wealth and asset planning and management and advisement. We have our commercial bank that works with typically middle markets, mid-size companies for all sorts of financial solutions. So a lot of growing companies that you know and love. Our consumer and community bank, if we're looking there at the third section, this is probably our most well-known line of business. This is our Chase brand, and this is in pretty much every community across the lower 48 states. Most of you probably, if you're familiar with us, you probably came to know us first and foremost through our Chase brand. That's actually how I first was introduced to the firm. I opened a checking account with Chase and got a travel credit card with Chase. So that's, as with many folks, that was my first introduction to who we are. But of course, we are so much more than just our Chase brand. As you track to the right of the screen, our corporate and investment bank is going to be working with our largest clients. So companies with annual revenues in excess of $2 billion, a lot of other institutions and governmental organizations. And our corporate functions. So corporate functions are special because our clients within the corporate functions are all of our clients here at the firm. So here in human resources and campus recruiting, where I sit, I'm also part of our corporate functions, and I work to serve clients across different lines of business. In addition to human resources, of course, we have compliance, finance, legal, all sorts of different support functions that help keep the gears turning in the other parts of our company. And then finally, we have technology, and this is a very fast-growing space for us. Technology roles are technically part of our corporate functions, but there are lots of technologists at our firm, so we sort of consider them their own entity. We actually have more than 50,000 technologists now at JPMorgan Chase. So if you're a person who is studying computer science or engineering, or is just curious about a role in tech, I'm happy to talk to you about that later as well. We can advance to the next slide, Christina. I won't linger here too much, but I did want to just hit on our core values. We talk about these because we really want you to be able to envision what your experience would be like as one of our colleagues here at the firm. So thinking through growth and how your career grows as you progress forward, not just sitting static in one place, but having many different opportunities to have many different mini careers in one. The impact that you make with the work that you do. I measure the impact that I make all day long by helping to attract more folks to our firm, helping us to diversify all of our different lines of business and making sure that folks have a wonderful experience while they're being recruited. Development, we have many different learning and training opportunities, not just to learn more about how to do your job, but also to further your education and to upskill yourself so that you can go new and different and exciting directions with your career. Innovation, of course, we're always looking to lead the charge in terms of the work that we do, not just in financial services, but also in areas like campus recruiting. We like to lead the pack. We like to try new things. We love to be innovative here. And then, of course, our culture, right? Culture is what keeps us at a place, what makes us excited to come to work every day, and what makes us proud of the work that we do. And I think, it's pretty evident if you dig in a little bit to our website and to the different events that we sponsor and the ways that we are engaged in the community. We're very much focused on creating a winning culture that's not just about success you find in the job that you do, but also how you give back to the community. We can advance to the next slide. And I have a quote here from our immediate past head of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Brian Lamb. Brian has actually just been promoted onto a new role at the firm, and our new head of diversity, equity, and inclusion is David Myrie. So sorry for the little bit of misinformation here, but the reason I wanted to share this is because we are kind of a rare bank on Wall Street. We have a very, very robust DE&I centralized organization. So what does that mean? That means that it's not just a side gig or part of your job that's 90% your day job is doing your financial services work, and the other 10% is working on DE&I. We have entire organizations within our firm focused exclusively on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have centers of excellence, as we call them, that work across the firm to help advance the interests of our colleagues and also our customers. So those centers of excellence include Advancing Black Pathways, Advancing Hispanics and Latinos. It includes our Asian and Pacific Islander organization. It includes our Women on the Move organization. It includes the LGBT plus affairs office, also our veterans organization and our Office of Disability and Inclusion. So all of these centers of excellence, that is their day job. That is the only work they do to advance the interests of our colleagues and also our customers who identify in the same way. So it's really special to have those centers of excellence organizations, and a lot of other companies are looking to us now to see how they can emulate that so that we don't just have business leaders who are tasked with also doing that work, but we have folks whose full-time job is all about how we drive the agenda forward in all of those different spaces and create inclusive communities at our firm and also for our customers. We can advance to the next slide, please, Christina. And here you can see an example of some of our business resource groups that are distinct and independent from those centers of excellence that I just mentioned, but they're also helping to drive the agenda forward. So accessibility for folks with disabilities, Adelante for the Hispanic Latino community, Aspire for Asian Pacific Islanders, Bold for our Black African American colleagues, NextGen is an organization that works with young professionals, Pride for the LGBT plus community, SAGE for our administrative professionals, VETS for military veterans, and then Working Families Network to help promote a balance between work life and also your family life, because we know it's so important, and then Women on the Move as well. There is some talk of setting up an Indigenous Americans business resource group as well. So we're always looking to the horizon to see where can we improve, what are we not doing well enough. But our BRGs are super important because they are sort of like the first way that you can come in as a new hire to our firm and really start to affect change outside of your job. You can network with so many different colleagues. You can be intimately involved in the agenda and help to advance the work that we're doing in our communities across the country. And over 80% of our colleagues are actually members of our business resource groups, and we're always growing that number. So very accessible, very fun to network and to make new friends outside of the work that you do, and fun to drive the agenda forward as well. We can go on to the next slide. And I wanted to linger, of course, since this is National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and the CUNY Leads program is what has organized this and brought us here today. I did want to double click a little bit on our Office of Disability Inclusion that we have at our firm. It's one of our oldest and most well-established diversity, equity, and inclusion centers of excellence. It's been around for quite a few years now, and it has sort of led the charge in terms of DE&I work that we do here at our firm. And it's really built around a few main pillars. If I know it's very small, so if you want to zoom in a little bit on that, Christina, that might help our folks see it a little bit better, the text that's at the bottom. But essentially, what we're really focused on in the Office of Disability Inclusion is making sure we are increasing access to our products, to the jobs that we offer, to everything related to hiring and career growth. We're making sure that we are supporting research and programming that's going to help folks who are small business owners and also identify as having a disability be successful financially. We're also trying to increase new opportunities for folks to enter into the world of financial services if they happen to have a disability. We know that can be hard to do historically because we live in an ableist society in many ways, and we're working to break down those barriers. We're also working to deepen our relationships with different organizations globally to help drive this agenda. So it's a really cool office. They also help to spearhead a lot of our accommodations practices that we have during the recruiting process, and also when you're onboarded for your job, making sure that you have everything you need to be successful, whether you're a student who's interviewing for a role or whether you're a colleague who's joining us full time. The Office of Disability Inclusion leads that charge. And we'll talk a little bit more about recruiting specific accommodations a little bit later here in our presentation. And if you're interested in learning more about our Office of Disability and Inclusion, there is a link down at the bottom of this presentation, which Christina will circulate after our call today. Just visit jpmorganchase.com/ODI for Office of Disability Inclusion. All right, we can advance to the next slide. So now I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about you, all of you on the call, and JPMorgan Chase, starting to envision a future career with us. Now, I know we have a group from across different graduation timelines, so I have slides here to talk about how you can start to get engaged with our recruiting opportunities and educational opportunities as a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, senior, and beyond. So if we have any freshmen on the line, this is where you'll want to pay attention here. I know you're probably wrapping up your first semester as a freshman, but it's never too early to start and think about how you can get involved with us in the coming months and years. So you'll want to think about some of the opportunities we have on our careers site. So occasionally we will have some pre-internship opportunities. They may be called early insights programs, as it shows on this page. They may be called emerging talent programs, but you can find those on our career site. And just check the graduation timeline for eligibility. Every single opportunity we offer will have an eligibility timeline based on your graduation year. And you must be within that timeline in terms of your intended graduation plans to be eligible. So just read those and make sure that you're eligible before you apply, but we do have something for everybody on the career site. One of the first ways you can get plugged in to programs that are appropriate for your graduation timeline is to join our talent network. We haven't linked there in the presentation, but you can also simply go to jpmorgan.com/careers, and at the bottom of the page, you'll see the option to join the talent network. It's very easy, and it helps you get into our system so that we can promote opportunities to you that are relevant based on your academic program, the interest that you indicate when you fill out the talent network form, and also your graduation timeline. There's also podcasts that we operate that you can subscribe to if you want to learn more about what's going on at the firm. Tech Trends and Women on the Move are two of those podcasts. They're not the only podcasts or resources we have, so make sure you check out our career site, check out our social media, check out YouTube, and check out wherever you get your podcasts, because we have lots of different ways that you can start to learn about what we do in the space in financial services and the impact we make in our communities. And it's always good to come into a recruiting cycle with lots of good talking points, right? So that when you do land that interview, you can impress your interviewers with your knowledge. And we have a really, really, really awesome resource that has just been rolled out in the last year, and it's open to everybody. I'm going to start to explain it here on our freshman page, but this is for everyone. Whether you're a freshman to senior, if you're an alum, you'll want to make sure you are going to Forage. So Forage is an independent third-party company that we partner closely with to create experiential learning modules for you. They are free. They are self-paced. They are not graded or assessed in any way. There are no barriers to entry. All you need to do is go on and create a Forage account, register, and take our learning modules. And I think we have more than, I think it's 12 or 14 currently that align to the different programs we have. So if you are someone who's interested in maybe a career in investment banking, but you don't know too much, you don't know where to start, you might be someone who hasn't decided on a major yet, or maybe you're thinking of changing your major, or maybe you didn't major in anything finance related, but you want to gather enough information to feel confident applying to an investment banking program. That's why we have Forage, and it is a terrific opportunity for you to go in and experience a day in the life of an intern or a full-time analyst working in a particular space. So it's usually about 4 to 6 hours to complete any of these modules. But again, self-paced, you don't have to do it all at one time. Totally free, no barriers to entry. So visit Forage through these links, and we'll have Christina send this to everybody after the session. And you can learn about everything from market sales and trading to investment banking to cybersecurity to our software engineering program, commercial banking, private bank, wealth management, all sorts of different programs. I would encourage you to explore, see what you like, see what you don't, and that will build your confidence as you go to apply for roles with us. All right, let's advance to the next slide.
Just a quick note, as I got a direct message from the student, all of these links will be provided to you after the event. That's why I'm asking you guys to register with your attendance. So please make sure that you either send me an email or register with the link that I provided. All of this will be given to you after the event. Okay.
Thank you for that reminder, Christina. Very important. And if you're not a Queens College student, no fear. I dropped my email address in our chat box. So feel free to reach out to me and I will be able to connect you with different opportunities. I actually have office hours twice a week usually. So if you email me, and don't email me right now, I haven't updated my office hours for next week, but email me maybe tomorrow and you'll get an automatic reply with my office hours time and dial-in information for next week. Feel free to join and I can absolutely make sure you get these resources. I get a lot of emails, so I don't always reply to them, don't have the time to, but if you join my office hours, I guarantee I'll be able to provide you with all of these resources. So please feel free to do so. So yes, I saw a question pop up. Is this only for freshmen? Forage is for everybody. Freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, and alumni, master students, whatever. Please make sure you explore Forage. So now on the sophomores page, so I should note that for freshmen, make sure you're paying attention to this sophomore page here too, because a lot of this is going to be applicable to you here in the coming months. As you track into the second half of your freshman year, in about 6 months, you'll want to make sure you're applying for sophomore programming. So I will say that because of our timing this year, our Career EDU Academy program, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, that is closed. It's simply a virtual educational journey that talks all about JPMorgan Chase and helps you understand our lines of business a little. It's kind of like the content I started out with, but deeper. That program is closed, but we still have other programs for sophomores. We have our sophomore fellowship programs. We have 2 of those. One is called Advancing Black Pathways, and the other is called Advancing Hispanics and Latinos. And they are 6-week fellowships for the following summer. So those applications are opening very soon. So if you are interested in those programs, you can check out our website, you can apply to them, and it's a 6-week paid fellowship, which you can kind of think of as a pre-internship for next summer that can lead to a return offer for an internship, a full internship, which is 9 or 10 weeks, the following summer in 2024. So that's the fellowship programs. We also have our early insights programs, which we'll talk about a little bit more here in a minute. We also have our Talk Tech series. So if you're interested in our software engineering program or other tech-related programs, you can learn more at Talk Tech. We have case competitions where you can think through creative solutions, both tech and non-tech. There's so much you can do. So make sure you're visiting our career site to check out all of these programs after today's session. And again, another call out to Forage, because Forage is for everybody, no matter the year. So if we could advance to the next slide, Christina. I know we have questions about juniors and seniors, and we're absolutely getting there. Just a moment, bear with us. So if you're a sophomore right now, I apologize, but we've missed the boat for Career EDU Academy this year. If you're a freshman, this is an overview of the courses that we offer for Career EDU Academy. Registrations will probably open in August or September of 2023. for the fall of 2023 for folks who will be sophomores starting next year. Next slide, please, Christina. Early Insights program. So for current sophomores, this is something that you will be able to register for here in just a few months. So our Early Insights programs are identity-specific programs that we run. They're one day, they're virtual, and there are no barriers to entry. And we have programs for students from all different walks of life. We have our We See Ability program for students who identify as having a disability, our Proud to Be program for the LGBT plus community, our Advancing Black Pathways program, and so on and so forth. We have 7 or 8 different Early Insights programs, which you will be able to find in the coming weeks. We will start to publicize those on our career site. We also have a page on our career site that gives you a brief overview of all of these programs that we offer. So essentially what you would do is you would apply to our Early Insights programs here in the late, probably mid to late winter when they open. And then there would be a one-day experience that happens sometime between February and into the summer. Different lines of business will run the programs at different times. My team manages 5 programs that will run probably in April, including our We See Ability program. So I would encourage everyone to explore those. We have so many different options that you can register for and participate in as a sophomore and learn more about our recruiting process, the great work that we do in different diversity spaces, and how we're advancing the agenda here at the firm. Next slide, please. So now opportunities for juniors. So if you are a junior right now, we do have some programs that are still available for summer 2023. Again, we're a little bit late this year in our first broader call to sort of share our opportunities. So I do apologize there. Some of you may already have applied to some of our roles. But for those of you who have not, if you are a current junior, so graduating between December 2023 and spring 2024, we have internships that will be closing here at the end of this month, beginning of next month in terms of applications. So our corporate and general management programs, they close December 1st, somewhere around there. It may be the end of November, it may be on into December, so you'll want to check the deadlines, but we have rotational programs like our Corporate Analyst Development Program, Chase Leadership Development Program, Internal Audit, Global Finance and Business Management, Security Services, lots of different programs that are still open and taking applications for sites all across America. New York is, of course, at this point, one of our most popular locations. So sometimes as we get towards the end of the season, a lot of our New York spots are filled, but we still have a lot of opportunity in the greater Philadelphia area in Delaware, also in Columbus, Ohio, Tampa, Florida, other places out west, Chicago, different opportunities based on the program. So please do check those out. And if you're interested in any of those corporate roles with us, please do make sure you apply in the coming days, as they will close within the next month or so. If you're interested in tech, you have a little bit more time. Some of the tech programs will not close until on into the winter as we get into around February, March timeframe. Also, Talent Network, you want to join as a junior, it's never too late to join the Talent Network and to follow us on social media, all those other things that I mentioned in addition to Forage that you heard about back on the freshman slide as well. Those are all applicable for our juniors. And for our seniors, if we advance to the next slide, deadlines are similar. We have full-time analyst hiring roles, some of which are still open, some of which have already closed, but check out our career site. Make sure you're paying attention to the graduation timeline, and you'll want to apply for full-time analyst roles, not our summer analyst roles. Summer analyst roles are for juniors, typically. Full-time analyst roles are going to be for seniors, so for immediate hire after you graduate. So please check those out. We also have, for anyone who is interested in investment banking, we have a full-time analyst investment banking pathway that has 4 start dates a year, and they are starting to open up their applications, I believe, in December. And they will be interviewing in January and February as well. So you will see that the full-time investment banking analyst program will show as closed on the student section of our career site. They closed in September. However, there will be new investment banking. This is investment banking specific, investment banking full-time analyst roles that will open up here in the coming months. So if you do have interest in that and you're a senior, check that out as well. All right, let's advance to the next slide. And I don't have a slide specifically. Let me just do a quick call out to anyone who may be a master's student or an alum. We have lots of opportunities for you if you're in an MBA program. We do have our summer associate roles, full-time associate roles. We have all sorts of other full-time hires, so we can talk about that offline if you're interested. Again, my email, just blake.johnson@jpmorgan.com. It's in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me and come to my office hours, and we can talk through roles available for you if you are an alum or you are beyond a bachelor's degree. All right, and now I want to talk a little bit about interview tips because this is a question that we get a lot in the recruiting process. What does the interview entail? How many steps are there? How difficult is it? What can I expect? So I want to just talk with sort of three main points here. Number one, prepare a little bit before you start the recruiting process with us. It's going to help you dramatically. And how can you prepare, right? There's no secret sauce or formula, but I would say making sure that you understand who we are as a firm, and most of that detail is available on our career site. And you're already doing a great job by being here today, right? That's already showing us interest. That's already taking the first step to learn, but make sure you learn as much as you can. So check out our website, check out those forage modules, get some good talking points in your mind, and start to discern for yourself what roles you're interested in. And don't be afraid to mention that, whether that's in the hire view video, which is a recorded video response, or whether that's in a live person-to-person interview. Being able to say, you know, I did this and this is how I realized I was absolutely not interested in investment banking, but was rather interested in internal audit. Something of that nature. Having talking points and having reasons why is so important, right? Also, make sure that you read about what's going on in the news, the world of financial services, in the markets, JPMorgan. All of you have resources at your school library that you can tap into that are free that you might have to pay for outside of school. So definitely check those out. Publications like the Wall Street Journal, The Economist, Financial Times, all sorts of different finance-related publications. Read up on those a little bit. You don't need to be an expert, but just make it a habit of reading what's going on in the news. That will definitely be helpful to you. And don't be afraid to network as well. Networking is neither expected nor required, but you can always go to LinkedIn. You can find folks who are alums of your school who work at JPMorgan Chase, and you can send a connection request. You get a little bit of real estate there that's like a tweet, right? You can't write too much, a small sentence or two, but you can tell them that you're a student at their school. You can tell them that you know they work at JPMorgan Chase and you've been doing some research into the firm and you were wondering if they're available for a 10 or 15-minute coffee chat. And a lot of folks, especially if they're junior analysts or associates, are really excited to talk to alums from their school. So don't hesitate to reach out if you want to learn more and talk directly to employees at the firm. Now, you may have to reach out to 20 or 30 people, depending on what time of year it is and what their job is before you get a response. But I would say networking is never a bad thing. But don't expect, you know, that you're going to reach out to Jamie Dimon or members of our operating committee or really senior managing directors and they're going to, you know, have a phone call with you. They're super, super busy, right? So be very judicious with who you reach out to, but feel free to start networking if that's something you have an interest in. Number two, assessment. So I mentioned this a little bit. We have a few different assessments in our process, but it's really quite simple. For most of our roles, there's only a basic application. You could think of it as a quick online or paper application that's just filling out some basic info. Then you have the hire view, which is a video interview, and you'll be asked between 3 and 5 brief questions. You don't get a lot of time to prepare. You get about 30 seconds, and you'll have about 2 minutes to respond. And those questions are going to be softball, behavioral questions or experience related questions that are going to ask you things like, when did you overcome an obstacle and what did you learn? Or when did you have to make a decision with incomplete information? Or what's something going on in the world of financial services that's interesting to you and why? Those are the kinds of questions you can expect during the hire review. And it is, as I mentioned, a video interview. So it's just you recording yourself with nobody else on the other end of the line. That can be a little bit challenging sometimes, right? So preparing for the hire review can take the form of recording yourself and playing it back and seeing how you think you did. Did you speak with confidence? Did you answer the question fully? Did you say everything you wanted to say within the specific amount of time that you had? So that's really the first and most important piece and the first inflection point in our process, hire review. Now, if you are applying for tech programs, you will do something called HackerRank, which is a coding assessment. So for our software engineering program, you do not complete HireVue, you only do HackerRank. But if you're applying for any other program at our firm, you will do a HireVue first. And then finally, after the initial assessments phase, if you are advanced after that first review, you'll be invited for a final round live person-to-person interview. Typically, it's virtual, but they will be live interviews, and it's usually between 3 and 5 people that you meet with. They're pretty short, 30 minutes or so each, and they're back to back, either all in one morning or all in an afternoon, so that you don't have to give up your entire day. We may eventually at some point go back to in-person interviews. We used to fly folks out to our different offices, and you would meet with your future colleagues there for those live super days, as we call them. But during COVID, we pivoted to virtual, and this seems to be working very well and provides increased flexibility for everybody. So I know for at least this next year, I believe we're going to be virtual final round interviews, and we call those, again, super days. That's really all there is to it. HireVue and/or HackerRank, and then the interview super day. So it's not a very complicated process, but it can take a little bit of time because we do not leverage any sort of AI to help us review those HireVue videos. We do it all manually. Even though HireVue, which you may see as you apply to other companies, HireVue does have that ability to be to turn on the AI and have them, have it prioritize certain buzzwords or the way someone answers a question, but we don't do that because we want to eliminate as much potential for bias as possible. So we send these videos out to all of our business professionals, and we have them assess your responses, and then we come together as a committee to determine who we are able to invite to super days. And they also don't even have your resume. They don't know where you go to school. They don't know your GPA when they're reviewing your HireVue. It's literally just your responses in a vacuum. And that is to, again, eliminate as much unconscious bias as possible from the process. I'm sure there's questions about interviews, so hold those for a second. We're almost done with the presentation, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So let's go to the next slide, please. I do want to talk about accommodations. So if you do require an accommodation for our interview process, absolutely, we are happy to provide that. There's a few ways you can go about requesting it. The easiest way is apply and then reach out to this email address here. It is the My Accessibility Hub group, and the email address is simply mah.ges@jpmchase.com. And we'll make sure everybody has this. Of course, you can take a screenshot now. We can follow up after today's presentation with this information, but you can apply first and then reach out and say, I'm going to need an accommodation for XYZ part of the process. And they will work with you to find the appropriate accommodation. You can also request accommodations when the HireVue is sent to you, or when you are invited to the super day part of the process, or if you find yourself needing to complete a HackerRank. That can take the form of some sort of replacement. So if you are not able to record yourself in the standard manner with HireVue, we can replace that with a live first round verbal interview, or we can replace that with a written assessment where you are provided the same questions that you would need to respond to in HireVue, and you can simply write out your answers and send that back to our recruiting teams. So we can absolutely find an accommodation that works for you if you do have that need. We also have accommodations for the technologies we use. So if you want to complete HireVue, but you need a little bit of extra time, we're absolutely happy to do that for you. I will also note that HireVue and HackerRank are both screen reader compatible. So if you do use a screen reader, you would be able to complete those assessments. There's other things we can toggle on or off, like additional contrast to help with folks who may be low vision as well. So that is how you would request an accommodation through our process. That email address will also be provided in the success message after you complete your initial application. So we do provide that at multiple points within the process so that folks can reach out and request the accommodations that they require. All right, next slide, please. This brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you all for listening to me talk about JPMorgan Chase. It's always great to be here and to share a little bit about who we are and what we do. And I would love to have your questions now. So I'll turn it back over to Christina to moderate for us and maybe start with what we have in the chat.
Thank you so much, Blake. I think some of the questions you already responded to. Someone inquired specifically opportunities for juniors and seniors. There's a question here from a student stating, do we get exclusive leads if we have a Chase Bank account?
Exclusive. Can you help me understand the question a little bit better? Exclusive leads?
Momo, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask the question directly, you could do that now. I wonder if he's still here. Yes. That question was from Momo.
So so maybe the question is, maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but I'm going to take a stab at it here. So if you're a client of ours, would you get sort of exclusive information around opportunities with our firm, or different opportunities in the recruiting process that may be exclusive to clients? No, we don't offer anything of that nature. So we provide the same opportunities to everybody, whether they're a client or not. We want to make sure that we have a fair and equitable recruiting process as much as possible, right? So we will be sharing that information with those folks who opt to join our talent network. So that is the most surefire way to make sure you're staying in touch with us and receiving information regarding all of our opportunities. Make sure you join the talent network. You can find that very easily at jpmorgan.com/careers.
Thank you, Blake. So we have a few hands raised. I will start.
Alrighty.
Jeremy. Jeremy, if you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly, please.
Yeah, of course. So I just wanted to thank you for coming in and speaking to us and informing us. It was really helpful to sort of get an insight onto the company, as well as the sort of process that I can fast track myself towards a career. I was just wondering if there's any in-person freshman opportunities that you know of that are upcoming, because personally, I attended one in person earlier, the freshman focus, and that was like,
oh, great. Yeah.
Overwhelmingly positive, because I got to talk
Awesome.
to people in person and ask questions. So if you know of anything like that, are there any opportunities like that coming up that you know of that we could apply to?
I don't know right off the top of my head, but we are starting to get back, as you see, into some more traditional in-person opportunities. There's still going to be a whole lot of virtual, but these in-person opportunities arise from time to time. So beyond registering for our talent network, check out our events page. And actually, Christina, I'm happy to share my screen really quickly to show folks how we can navigate to the careers page, if that's okay, and you have sharing enabled.
Yes,
Let me see if I can do that real quick. All right.
Share. You can definitely share your co-host.
All right. Can folks see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I can show you here is our career site. So it's just careers.jpmorgan.com, or you can just type in jpmorgan.com/careers. It will redirect you here. And you'll see there's some big tiles on the page. We have, to the right side, students and graduates explore programs. That's where you can start for lots of good info. But to answer Jeremy's question in particular, if you're looking for events, look up here. It's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit harder to find, but it's in the top right corner of the page. It is the events tab. And under it, you'll see student events. And this is where you'll be able to find all the things that are going on that are either virtual or in-person events that you can register for. So you can see here we have some diversity summits. So proud to be in analytics, advancing Hispanics and Latinos in analytics. You'll see sometimes we have different recruiting teams that will have several different events at a time. The corporate and investment bank inside the industry, what is JPMorgan Chase? We have MBA programs. We have other inside the industry info sessions. What's an IPO? So tons of information here. Some of them will be virtual. Some of them will not be. So you can see here for our MBA programs, these are planned to be in person. Again, for students who are currently pursuing an MBA. If location is blank, they're probably virtual programs. So I just wanted to do a quick call out to that so that you know where to go and make a habit of checking. Definitely the student events tab. Also check out online academies, tech webinars. And if you go back to, we go back to our main page, make sure you familiarize yourself with the students and graduates tab. And down at the bottom, keep in touch. This is that talent network form I was telling everybody about. Go to keep in touch, click students, and register for our talent network. So if you make a habit of exploring this page and knowing where everything is, you can definitely find the latest information on everything that we have on offer. And again, here we have apprenticeships, pre-internships, internships, full-time roles. Everything is here in different tabs. We also have different resources. So if you look at how we hire at the top as well on our careers page, you're going to see different resources here. Dig into these because there's going to be all kinds of things about your resume, how to best position yourself for an interview, how to make the best and most informed decision, all those good things. So please do familiarize yourself with our career site. Great question, Jeremy.
I think it's also important
Thank
for you guys to follow the company's page on LinkedIn, as I do, where I do see a lot of updates directly in my status, as a status on my page. So follow that, do that as soon as possible, and connect with us on LinkedIn as well. We have another question from Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yes, first I want to say thank you not only to Blake, but thank you to Christina for the opportunity that you're giving everybody here, and not only at Queens College, but the other universities that are here. And I'm just very excited about the opportunity that you guys are talking about. Yeah. So the first question that I have is that I followed the link that Christina posted into the chat. I put in my CUNY ID number, but however, it didn't ask for an email address. So I just want to make sure that I get in my email all the information and the PowerPoint that you guys have been talking about today.
Are you a Queens College student?
Yes, I'm a Queens College student, yes.
We have your email as part of HireQC. So if you've registered, your email will pop up directly after the registration.
Okay, good. So it's going to be sent to my QC email, not my direct email. All right.
Or
Okay.
your QC email, the one that you registered with HireQC.
Okay.
Okay,
And,
so you definitely receive all the information that we discussed here via email shortly.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. So
Now,
that's really my only question, because my second question, you guys already answered it. I was actually going to ask you guys about the events and how can we keep up with knowing what events is happening. But then the brother,
So what's the answer to that, Marcus? What's the quickest answer to that?
I just got to go on chase.com. I got to go on the website.
Gotta go. Yeah. Join the talent network, right?
Yes, I got to
Poke
join.
around.
Yes, yes, yes.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Yes, sir.
My pleasure.
Yes.
thank you, Marcus. We're gonna go to Sari now. You have your hand raised as well.
Oh, hi. My name is Sori. I attend BMCC. I'm about to graduate this year and transfer to Hunter. I also got accepted by Queens also.
Mhm.
So yeah. So
Wonderful.
my question, yeah, my question is, I think I forgot it. Like when is your office hours? Because you said you had office hours with students and stuff.
Yeah. So if you email me and let me have a little bit of time. I haven't updated my office hours for next week yet, but if you email me, say tomorrow, and my email is in the chat, it's just blake.johnson@jpmorgan.com. If you email me, you'll get an auto reply, and that will have next week's times and the Zoom dial-in information for my office hours. So once you email me, you'll get that information, and then you are free to join office hours next week.